we're live. Okay, so I'm showing that thing here. Okay, so new features today. We're going to be discussing different things, and of course, first important one is that we've got a few updates on the platform, fancy ones, which are helping us to trade more or less. Right, so what we've got here, I've just opened the order, or this order here, just before stream started. Right, so for this order thing, right, open order for order. Anyway, so what we've got now is interesting strategy, which is going to be here, called partial close, and I'll explain what that means. So basically now we are able to see split positions, right? So let's say first position is for $15 here, and it grows and so on. So here when you click that, you be able to see individual positions, right? And it's quite handy because sometimes when price goes in the opposite direction or in your direction, wherever, then you can close partly and you will be able to see the profit straight away. So, for example, one of the positions is underwater. I'll probably draw it later, but let me show what I mean by splits. So you'll be able to see individual positions now. So I'll put another long, right? Another long, and it will appear here. Look, so now we've got two individual positions, right? So we may close one without closing another. It's got calculations sort of like if it's got stop loss, so it's going to close, if you close it manually, it's going to close most profitable ones, and it's going to close those with stop losses, the last ones, right? Let me draw here, and then I'm going to be talking about today's topic. All right, so drawing part. So the way it works is, all right, let me do the green one. So now open long, right, at this price here. So open long on this price here, goes up, and we open another long here, so we've got two separate longs, right? So price returns here, so this position is underwater, but this one is still profitable, so we can close that one there. But over, when it goes up, let's say you open long here, chase profit, chase short, let's say chase long means the following. So that means the following. Right, I have to do some scaling here because it's hard to see. So we've got. I'm going to be talking about that only, right? Let me do a screenshot. Price it there. Right. Okay. Put it here. So scaling up. Right. So so we're talking about short, right? Let me do it. So open short, first position, let's say $15. Right. So what happened? Come on. So what happened next? Price goes in our favor, and it goes right? Here is another field for short trigger, as that, right? Short trigger. So what I mean is, when we get this delta 1%, then we open a stop loss here, that one there, 0.5%, right? And it's getting triggered here on 1%, on this field here, 1%. Now, chase short means we open another $15 here, right? It's a bit messy. Once again, so open short goes down 1%, like $15. If chase short is happening, then we open another $15 here, and we put stop loss here, right? So that's that. Trailing stop loss. Well, that means it's tracking, right? It's gonna trail the price. So if the price goes down, this stop loss goes with it. So basically the idea is the following. So if you have $15 and the price goes straight away 30%, so you're going to put 15 times 30 deposit, right? So like that. And all the stop losses from here, they're all going down here with the price. But effectively, you're risking only $15 because this is only the position without stop loss. So that's the whole idea. See how it goes. Right? What we've got here. Yeah. Now let me close part of it. Let's say that's a 4 cents, whatever. So let's say I'll close it like that. Right? So you see it now here, the same amount. And you see that one like no little, and that will remain the same as this one's $5 and so on. So that's the way. Now if I add another $15, here, it's going to add this split here. There you go. So that's that. Right. So let me move this away. And let me. So that's the new thing. That's the new thing, right? It's a big new fresh design and stuff, right? So here, a bit here and there, a few things, you know what I mean? Look, get in there. Now, getting back to here, profit is detected. Yeah, all right. I have nothing against profits, so all good. The only thing is there is not an auto hedge for this particular strategy. It's going to be added in the next release, I believe, but for now, it's okay for me. Right. So, but like, as a matter of fact, let's say we decided to cover up some also open short in the other direction. So that means if price falls right down there, it's going to be adding like positions as mad every percent. And I don't have to hedge entire sum now. I'm just I have to rely on Robert that it's going to just add positions on the way if it has to, and also like if it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to. So something like that. Right. So today another mouse is context and trading. Right. Context. And getting back to whiteboard here. So why it's important? Because trading is not our clicking here. It's getting there. Oh look, goes up. Added stop losses. Let me check. Yeah, look, all of them have stop losses, but for some reason they didn't open other positions. Right? And that could be because like stop losses triggered, but adding the position happening on the next cycle, and price could only go up 1%, trigger the stop losses and go back. That happens as well. So that's sort of your responsibility to see how it goes. Right. Anyways, getting back to context. Right. So trading is not primarily a financial problem. Right. It's a problem of perception, learning, and neural adaptation under uncertainty. Because we are not designed to trade, really. We are not designed to see that amount of random in our lives, and that's why it's quite hard in the first stages of that. So first, the definition. Definition. Right. And again, pardon for sound and pardon for camera. I don't really care at this time because all those notes I would probably put later put in AI, and AI is going to beautify everything, and it's going to beautify my voice, and it's going to get rid of cops and all those pauses. Yeah. I'm just making this video to make sure that this is original video made by me, and the ideas behind it are sort of out of my brain. Right, so in neuroscience terms, context is the structured set of external stimuli that modulate perception, decision making, and memory encoding. Right, it's complicated, isn't it? So context is basically so we've got a person here with eyes and ears, right? Let's say arms. It's per person from the top, right? So eyes are so looking there, and the ears are listening everything. So they are consuming stimuli, right? They are consuming signals. So reality is sending signals all the time, right? And they're getting into the brain, and in the brain some activity is happening, and the combination of all stimuli around is the pardon, context. So context really determines which neural circuits activate, how strongly they activate, and whether they're reinforcement or prompt, and so on, right? And this is really a mathematical function which has plenty of parameters, because really depends not only on how how strong stimuli is, it depends how novel it is, right? It depends how it is uh, satisfying, satisfying a need in that particular moment. So, and this is like this is parameter A, this is parameter B, this is parameter C, and so on. And all those parameters are getting into some mathematical function, and that function is to explain is to calculate the value of the context itself, right? Anyway, the important part here is that once you know the function exists at all, then you can really understand how to place yourself in the best possible context in order to reach optimal optimal performance in learning, right? Optimal performance in learning. And I would, like, emotions, I've forgotten about emotions, like I had to say, because emotions silence the degree to which the stimulus activate effective systems, increasing attention, striving, memory, and encoding. Right, so if you fall in love with somebody, then you probably would like to consume all possible context about them, performance videos and so on and so forth. Okay, trading is just becoming annoying, isn't it? Oh, closed what? Closed all loans. Right, yeah. Look, how cool is that? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Performance here. Right. Yeah, one more thing we've done. So before the table was just like hanging my computer. My computer is now like small, and we optimize everything. So now my computer is flying, and I can do streams at the same time. So I'm like, yeah, yeah. So get in there, a few coins here and there. Right. What I would do here, I would still have opened long. Right. So you see the difference here is now we like it's closing individual positions based on the individual stop losses. So that means like for addicted people, that's probably not the best thing. Just getting grain by grain, but like for me, it's fine. Right. So optimal performance and emotions and stuff. Right. And then it's how well analyze what kind of goals and needs. Yeah, I say that. Right. Uh, and what we've got is multi-stimulus learning. That's really important. Let me write it down. Yeah. Multi. Multi. How do you say that? Oh, I said multi. So stimulus. Stimulus. Neuroscience. Right. I'm not going to be writing that. Okay, so efficiency of learning is not only determined by the quality of stimuli, but also by how many systems are engaged simultaneously altogether, right? And this is really the thing. So, for example, to learn how to ride a push bike, you have to get on a push bike. When you are on a push bike, then you what kind of information you consume? Right? You consume information from the legs, how you push pedals. You consume information from your arms, how you navigate the steering, and then you consume your information from, is it like vestibular? What's his name in English? The system. Yeah, vestibular system, right? Which is like responsible for your orientation and space and stuff, right? So yeah, everything goes all right. Right, so and that means like if I draw your brain here, right, with convolutions here, right, and then you consume stimuli from arms, you consume your stimuli from uh, legs, you consume your stimuli from ear, which is like this vestibular, and everything, vestibular. Yeah, I have to put that vestibular system, right? They consume that information there, and also you like see where you go, right? So if your eyes are closed, then it's not really a good way to ride a bike, get in a fence or something. Right, so and this is how all of those things are united here in the brain in context environment. Right? So that's the thing. Uh, and yeah, one more thing here is all of them are uh, getting processed. All those stimuli from outside, they're getting processed, and you are getting emotional response, right? So, for example, riding is a fun, like a lot of fun. Fun is the emotion. Or let's say you go straight down from the hill, and then it's like fear. Yeah, fear is also is emotion. You can get a bit of what else? Rage, probably not. What pain? You can get pain. Can't say pain is an emotion, but like it's a state. So So all of that, yeah, and emotions basically they are feedback of the current context, context involvement. What's the word for that? Context. Right. So appliance, no appliance context. Yeah. So just go down there. Yeah. So basically the schema is, so we've got stimuli getting into the brain. Right. Brain generates emotions. Emotions get probably feedback back into the brain. Like, I don't know, back into the brain, emotions, and some adjustments are happening, right? So memory molecules, and I don't know what else, like synapses connections, plenty of them, right? So, in other words, synapses. In other words, as per previous videos, like training is happening, right? All that is just training, and neural network. Neural network is evolving. Is evolving. Right. So acquiring new skill, or hang on, trading doesn't let me. Okay, what we've got here. Hang on. Still don't know why it's not opening the what's his name? Yeah. Why it's not opening those positions? New splits, but I see the price movement is not enough, so that's probably why. You can see exchange market type any price. Yeah, no price no. Modify. Yeah, you can see here. Set up partial stop loss. Set up partial stop loss. Yeah. So you can see you can trace here what happens. Uh, we also have Discord URL, I believe, so you can inject Discord hook URL here, and then you would be able to see it's gonna just fall in your Discord. You can put this on the phone, and then, you know what I mean? That I'm using a lot. Okay, so context involvement, right? In the so still okay. That's nothing there. So basically, context. Was So basically, context, in our way, context is the no vice versa. Sorry. So the that data set for training our neural network in our skull is the derivative of the context, right? And context and the things what context consists of. So context is stimuli, uh, a need, like current need, and emotions, emotions involved with that, and what else? Stimuli, a need, emotions. I think that's it. Okay, that's it for now. So context T, so you put the T there. synchronous with the glue part. Okay, so I will give you an example. Right. So there are two different ways of learning language. The first one is really boring and useless when you do it yourself with books. Right? So when you are in prison or something and you don't have access to other sources, so you just read books and you like thinking you understand what's going on there. Try to learn vocabulary, right? Vocabulary. Then when you learn several number of words, let's say 1,000 words, you start reading books with those words, and then you start to translate to your own language, and so on and so forth. So that's one way of learning language, right? So another one is you go and live in a country, right? So just like, for example, I need to learn English, I go to the UK, and then in UK I learn a bit better. That is perfect. Instead of like, easier, let's say, because the context is very different. So in first case, the context is only like what the context is a reading. Right? So that means like visual input. We have no audio input because there are no native speakers around you. At least it was the pre-YouTube era. No audio input. Like, and I'm from pre-YouTube era myself. No emotions, right? No situations. That means like you don't have really a need to fulfill to learn the context. And what happens basically, your brain is getting just like one little arrow of stimuli, and the physical amount of neural connections and memory molecules is, let's say, X. Right? Now, we got a bit of money and a visa, jump on the plane and land in Heathrow. Right? So what happens basically? So now your brain is consuming audio, audio, it's consuming visual stimuli, reading, advertisements and stuff, consuming audio also consume like Birmingham accent, Birmingham, Scottish, all of them are in England, and that's like fish and chips accent, right? Very dynamic, right? Fish and chips accent, chips, right? So that makes like stimuli really rich, right? And then another thing is, for example, you go to Sainsbury's and you'd like to buy a car and you don't know how to talk the first time in the UK. You start thinking about it, right? You start playing like scenarios in your head, and that means like you fulfill your need, right? Also, emotions, right? Emotions. You go night time, back home somewhere, and they're saying like, "Hey mate, what are you doing here?" And then you've got fear, for example, and now you start thinking fast and thinking how to say, "Well, okay, should I say that? So fuck off," or or pardon for my English. Now, long story short, so you got 1,000x stimuli, right? 1,000x. So that means where quantity becomes quality in the brain. Every time you hear something, every time you see something, every time you experience something, there is a new neural path is created, right? New memory molecules are created and remain there, right? So that means your becoming English expert much faster. Maybe you're not getting RP, right? Depends on the area you live, but and then it's gonna be quite hard to relearn again. But like, you're not getting RP in a prison cell anyway. Right, so and that means like once you build a lot of neural network capacity in your brain, that means later you've got next advantages: rapid pattern recognition, right? Rapid pattern recognition, right? Uh, automatic responses, automatic responses. Back off you on. Durable memory formation. Right, and this is another thing, right? When you learn through books, you just see books, right? You see letters. What would you remember? Page number, how the paragraph looked like, you know. I mean, if you've got pretty good memory. But if you're in London, you remember smell, you remember sound, you remember faces, you remember, and all of that, all of those like memory stimuli, memory impulses, or sensory impulses, they're all combined and they're all building up the memory structure for you for a particular word. Because what word is, word word is just the generalization of context. Generalization of context. Generalization of context. That's what word is, right? So if you've seen just one table in your life, then you know the table is just like, you know, the table. But if you've seen a million tables in your life, then you see that a table is a generic object with particular properties, right? Uh, and then the word you're getting while you're learning English in the UK, for example, the word has very different context in itself compared to learning through books, and that means like the amount of information, amount of information forming that particular particular word is just like, I don't know, exponentially larger than just with poor context. Okay, so over there. Yeah, look, nothing happens now. So, yeah, that one's got a stop loss. That one hasn't. Let's check. Yeah, you see. So it's got a stop loss and it opens partial stop losses. Right. Okay. So what we've got next. Apart from the quality and quantity, there's another parameter, very important one, is the speed. Right? So, of course, you are going to learn faster when you have more context and more. And the context itself is more important for you. Right? Close that one. Yeah, open another one, no problem. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, you see, getting there. Right. But still, for this particular thing, I don't understand why it's not opening other orders, but like the chasing ones. But let's see. Ah, it's 100% between them, so yeah. Yeah, and weeks. You see, weeks. It's just like triggering the thing, and then the next cycle we're supposed to add another order. It's just like price gets back. So volatility is met here and there. Let's check. Oh, shit. 3%, 3.5%. Right, getting further context. And now we've got fourth part. Fourth part is about environment in which traders are today. See that's another thing, right? That, like it's very different from language learning, and I'll explain why in a second. So what kind of environment we've got today, right? So it's not structured. It is not structured. Structured, right? The second is maximizing your engagement because they sell you the ads, the engagement, right? And third is just triggering your emotional response, right? Because it's money and everyone wants to be rich, and we react emotionally. Right? So So, what is the problem? Why it's hard to learn trading? Well, first one is signal to noise ratio is simply one. Right? So almost all signals are just noise. Second, no relevance. Relevance. Oh, they show you the. Oh, have a look at MACD. Have a look at the. What others? Volume is okay. Volume there. Bollinger Bands, news, and so on and so forth. Right. And what it means is that the context you are consuming, and when you are consuming a context, I have to remind you, and you can see other my streams from previous topics, that amount of convolutions in the brain is limited, right? Energy is limited. What else? Time is limited, right? So if you're consuming not relevant content, that means you're just wasting resources and you are not acquiring any longer knowledge. All you do is just like you're making your brain messy and it's just jelly in a bean there, and that's it, right? So that's what. And the second thing is emotional silence. Let's go right there. Emotional. Let me write it down. So emotional. No. Silence. Silence. Right. It's artificially amplified. Like thumbnails, titles, narratives, all of them are trying to engage you in the consummation of the consumption of the context, of the context, and then you are getting addicted to it. You have to open it and see every day what happens there. But results are poor. So neurological consequence, right? Consequence, consequences. Dopamine spikes. Dopamine spikes. Shallow pattern recognition, or even wrong pattern recognition. wrong pattern recognition. And third one is fragmented neural models, which is impossible to generalize. Right? So fragmented neural models, no generalization. Yeah, and generalization is the thing which you have to sort of have in order to derive information out of complicated environments. So I'll give you an example. What trader watches the best strategy 2026? Oh, the best strategy, right? And you click it and say, "Oh yeah, that strategy is quite good." Like, where is good? I said, "Did you apply on yourself? Did you check it?" You know, or this indicator never fails. Like this RSI never fails. Again, uh, as having data science and deep learning background, I can say like you get the indicator, you create a data set, and you run statistical analysis. And if it was working, it works. If it wasn't working and gives you 50-50 chance, then the then it's not working, obviously. Right? However, how do you know? Like the bloke on YouTube, he's not telling that. Right? They're saying like, look, it made me money, I'm making money with it. They're very confident. You are not confident because you keep losing money because you don't know how to where to turn and stuff like that, right? And it seems like reasonable, but nobody's using scientific approach where you've got a peer reviewed paper, you've got the stats in place, and so on and so forth. The same as with patterns, right? So a bear flag, bull flag, and so on and so forth. Yeah, good, but like how many bear flags fail? Do we know? Like 50%. It's good to how to say to have this bear flag, bull flag pattern in place, because if it doesn't work, you just stopped out and you get away and you preserve the capital, right? So like the rules could be quite strict there, but in terms of easy helping to predict, I doubt. Right. So that's that. Yeah, and 50-50 here. So informational sources today, they are getting your engagement, right? So they're getting your engagement, and they're getting paid for your engagement. Not they're not getting paid. They're not getting commissions from your trades, successful trades. They're not getting punished for your unsuccessful trades, right? So the motivation, and I'm going to be talking about motivation later. The motivation is the opposite of yours. I could say that now. Right. So and yeah, and you're not getting cognitive stability, you're not getting long-term performance, you're not getting skill acquisition, right? So the manager, which is taking responsibility for your losses, that's probably gonna be the best manager, because if they got punished with you, they will think double about what's in it. All right. So high emotional stimulation without structured feedback creates the illusion of learning without actual skill formation. Right? That's the key principle. I can repeat that. High emotional stimulation. And it's quite a high name when the price goes like 1000% in 5 minutes. It's very emotional intense. But there is no structured feedback. So default environment is default trading environment is very noisy and misaligned with learning, like nothing with learning, like unless you really self-discipline. But if you are self-disciplined, then you can trade. All right, within the noise anyway. Then the only solution is deliberately design your own context, right? So the context, what you have to have is you have the definition, and you have to design for your psyche. PH psyche. Right. So that's the goal, right? Because like only you know who you are, only you know your like sites and so on and so forth, and only you is responsible for the context you are going to consume. You're going to consume and learn from it. Now, the difference in feedback loop, and I think that's the bottom line here. So, in the difference in between example of language learning and training, and why language is so easy. So, when you learn a language in the UK, you are getting structured, very, very well organized feedback. You speak, people respond. If they don't understand, you are getting feedback straight away. If they don't understand, maybe I've got bad pronunciation and so on. I have to correct myself, right? So you are getting an error, and then you have to respond to them. Unless you are like stupid beyond belief, you have to think, oh, I didn't understand. I have to say, in the other way, you make a mistake, you notice, you adjust, right? You hear yourself, you hear others, you calibrate, right? Because if you start talking with Russian accent, you sound slightly different than like if you try to copy the accent you've been in. And this is creating a really tight loop. I'll write it down. So you've got your action, you've got your feedback, right? Then you've got your correction, and you've got your improvement. So once again, you've got your action, you've got your feedback, you've got your correction, and you've got your action again. And this feedback will repeat over and over and over again. And the good thing about language learning is that as 10x times, and every time you are getting appropriate feedback to correct yourself, right? Nobody is laughing at you and trying to, yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens, but it's rather rare. Now, trading, right? The difference, trading. You take a trade, no feedback straight away, right? So you have emotions here, you have a knee here, and so on and so forth. But feedback, you can't control it when it's going to happen. You are not asking a person. So there is a delta time, which is unknown. Your profit, but the cause is unclear. You don't know. What was it, luck? Was it skill? We don't know, right? You lose again. Was it luck? Bad in this case. Was it like lack of skills? How to tell? You never know, right? So, that's the difference. And all those endless charts, straight content streams, news, talking heads on YouTube, they don't correct you. They're not telling you, well, you've done something right or wrong. They're just like pushing information and narrative into your head. That's it. Like that. And they don't have connection with you, right? Even if you go to a trading school, I've never been there. Maybe if you go and work for Goldman Sachs, maybe that's going to work. But like, okay, and the as a result, your brain your brain is consuming a lot of information, and without any feedback, it's just like wasting resources. Right? So basically, you are just interacting with data set, which, without being organized, it just like noise, 100% noise. Because if you can't derive any feedback out of the system, it's a noise. And this is, by the definition, this is the parameter by which we call bad data set. So let's say we have time here, and we've got profit here as a parameters we're going to check our model against, right? So if you've got your data set and you trail your neural network and you start with zero and you never go higher, you're always like losing something, getting something, losing something, getting something. Well, I have to release the dependent. The stroke appears in the screen, right? So what it means is you're not learning, right? Your model is not updating in order to use existing data in order to make money, right? And P&L is the parameter. So if it doesn't grow, if it like normal deep learning graph is like that. So with every epoch iteration, you are getting more money, more money, more money, more. Yeah, of course, in some lucky places you can get sort of exponential thing, because like if you multiply your profits all the time, right? So you're gonna get exponential, right? So you've got $2, then you've got 2 times 2, 4, then you've got 16, then you've got 64, and so on and so forth. Like I haven't seen such people, but like let's pretend they exist. But in in a normal environment, your learning is steady like that, right? Or you're getting to a particular profit level, let's say like 15-20% a year, and then you remain there trying to optimize, sometimes a bit lower, sometimes a bit more. But like this, like the top one is also looks healthy, right? Okay, so there's that. And if you, yeah, there's another graph. Hang on, yeah, let me put it. Yeah, something is telling me that more common graph is like that. Oh shit, it's like that, and that, and that, and that, and so on and so forth, right? So if that's happening, and you catch yourself that you are getting minuses all the time, that means your network is not updated, and you're consuming wrong context. Let's see what our trading is doing here. Not much. So not much, yeah. Right. Right. So that's that. So important part. Conclusion. Important part. Important. So your P&L is the parameter. Can ignore all others, right? And your P&L has to be linked to other parameters which you are using in order to trade. It could be market condition. It could be, what else? Volatility, let's say. It could be signals. By the way, our signals are sort of, let's see how what we've got today. Yeah, not enough green. But anyway, signals, right? Signals and risk exposure, right? Risk exposure. Right? So if you are risking too much and your P&L goes down, then perhaps you're doing something wrong, and you have to see this. Like again, some people are using quite weird indicators, the notion like source of information and so on and so forth. But everyone's different, but right. Also, what I have to tell you is when trading becomes learning. So trading, learning. When trading, hold on. So you've got structure of your input, right? Then measurable outcomes, outcomes. Then clear feedback, that's an important one. Clear feedback. Yeah, it would be good if somebody tells us where the luck, where we have luck and where we have skill. And again, this is the key in my all other topics when we are talking about IQ development and all that is the iterations. Iterations. Right. So more iterations better. So iterations supposed to be numerable and they have to have quality. And then, so you consume proper data, you derive proper information out of it, and you create skills. So conclusion is that language learning works because feedback is immediate, structured, and good, and trading improves only when you build the same loop as the language learning, where you've got action, context, outcome, correction, right? Without structured feedback, there is no learning, and without learning, there is no performance, right? So I would probably call it a day. Thank you for your attention. I hope somebody finds it helpful. And if you watch to the end, congratulations. See you next time.